Then we were maybe
Wow.
Wow. It's like we're live on the internet.
Wow.
And last week I accidentally stumbled into an Owen Wilson impression and I can't find it.
No, you can't get it back.
Wow.
You can't.
How did I? Maybe there's
Just a little bit too much Lonnie today.
Maybe there's a little vocal fry in there. And he gets a little softer, you know, and he's like, I was having this.
This
This is definitely It's a Wonderful
vocal
Life
fry.
and not Owen Wilson.
Which is funny because I haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life.
I just couldn't think of the actor's name.
Wait, what about It's a Wonderful Life?
That was the
Talking about
voice.
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Stewart over here. That's amazing. It's outrageous and crazy if you think about it in that
I'll
sort
lasso
of
the
way.
Why are
moon.
you so good at voices?
That's my new D&D character.
Godfrey has aged rapidly.
It's like
I have
Radford
to
hit a
say-
second puberty. Like he's just as wild, but his voice is much lower. He's done cracking.
It reminds
I'm
me of
Grandpa Cole. Hey there, little pup.
Please.
Hi there, little pup.
I need a cameo of Grandpa Cole.
Yeah, can we have a flashback with Grandpa
Yes.
Cole?
We've done some fun flashbacks in the past. Who knows?
They were with
Maybe I'll work some
relatives,
into
but they
the-
weren't Grandpa Cole. It
adventure
was
here.
like one of his 800 cousins.
True. I was gonna say, reminds me of doing accents and voices. I was talking to my ma about her computer earlier this
Mama?
weekend. I visited my ma this weekend, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, we were just watching some. I don't know if you guys have seen the hit new show Reacher. Season 2's out now on Amazon Prime.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. I was watching the first season with my mom because I thought she would like it, and she does. But it takes place in Georgia, like in the sticks. So, you know, I'm sitting here watching hours of this show of people talking with this, you know, Georgian accent. And I was talking to my mom, explaining what's wrong with her computer right after that. And I started dipping into it. I'm like, all right, I don't know what's going on here, Mom, but, you know, it's just ain't right. Something's not going on right. You need to fix it. You just don't got the right RAM usage going on here. And I couldn't get out of it. And it wasn't even Georgian accent. I'm pretty sure if anybody was from Georgia, they'd be like,
There's a,
If
get
only
out of
we
here.
had a-
from Georgia.
If only we
yeah,
had
if
a
only we had somebody in the call from Georgia, but we don't.
Ever a human was from Georgia, that
Nobody
human would be upset.
picks up accents like our girl Cleo.
Yeah. And nobody
I love it.
drops them slower.
Accent Velcro.
What's really fun is you can sort of force the effect if you talk with a weird accent for more than 4 sentences. Cleo will pick it up, and then you can stop, and Cleo's doing it for like the rest of the evening.
Listen, I've been so much better about it, okay?
Bradford Street.
I'm pretty sure he's not actually Bradford.
He is now.
I think it's just B Street.
he's
but
Bradford to me in here.
yeah, my guy. Bradford is like an ongoing character. He's been in the last several episodes.
Yeah, Bradford's
so
in
thank
the
you for your
engineering-
name inspiration.
In the engineering department of our airship, the SS
true.
Happy Orc.
In the engineering department of our hearts, to be, you know, if we're
That's
going to
right.
be clear.
The real engineering department was the friends we made along the way.
literally, then we made them become engineers.
Indeed. Yeah.
I have like shrimp syndrome. I need to posture check everyone.
I didn't know that was a thing. Shrimp syndrome.
Yeah, you know, heard of that shrimping when you're like
You said it.
sitting like this at the keyboard?
You said it slowly.
I've never
enough.
heard of that.
You said it slowly enough that I kept thinking the sentence was over, and it kept going on. So you're like, and I thought you were done. And you went shrimp, and I was like, interesting. And then you were like syndrome, and it never got to a point where it actually made sense to me because I was like, I just saw you eating, and that was not shrimp.
I listen, all right? You know how my brain works sometimes. Sometimes I say things and they say things in the words they say things.
Have you
At the
guys-
pace they say things.
Bigly important.
Have you guys seen the show Smiling Friends on HBO?
No.
No.
It's an animated show. One of the characters' name is Shrimp. Anyway, it's very good. I highly recommend it if you like dry humor, weird humor, animated shows.
B Street says, speaking of getting stuck in an accent, I was drunk in a bar in the UK chatting with this girl, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I can hear myself doing it, but I can't stop. That's funny. Cleo has had that precise experience.
What if it was?
What if it was
what
the
if
same
it's
bar?
the two of them? No, it's like that's perfect.
What if B Street was talking to Cleo?
Yeah, exactly.
We should interpret on Cleo's behalf. Cleo, go ahead and mime it, and Wash will translate what you're saying.
What? What? So, when you're drinking a large shrimp and just kind of dancing around, sometimes you just get overwhelmed with how animated you could be, and you're just like, why don't you just punch people with the shrimp and box a bit? I don't know. That's it. That's all
good.
I got. Sorry, I just woke up. I was excited and prepared to be like mentally here tonight. I am not there yet. So I guess once we get into like the scene, I'm probably gonna be like extra chill.
Well, Wash,
It's all part of the role playing.
We're going to help you work into it because we're actually going to start with a scene with FP62. So that'll give you a chance to like quick roll into things here. The Stumble Inn, which is, by the way, a great D&D tavern name. That is a terrific D&D tavern name.
That is a great one.
We have a chain of taverns in our world that's named after a viewer. We have a viewer named Grubbug, and there is a chain of taverns that's called Grubbugs, Grubs, and Mugs in our world. So that's our go-to right now. The group always looks for Grubbugs, Grubs, and Mugs in town. That's how they decide if it's civilized or not when they go somewhere.
That's where you find your besties.
That's right.
It is
where
true.
You find your besties.
And your fiance.
And the Grubs are decent.
I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to say anything. I just wanted to see what Wash was trying to say. But
where every bestie knows your name.
I was just gonna say I went to a bar, had lots of drinks, couldn't get out of the accent. They thought it was endearing, and then I shared a cigarette, which I do not smoke, with somebody outside.
And then, if you'll recall what happened next, and then on your way back to the hostel where we were staying, you walked directly through a growth of stinging nettles.
Oh wait, no, that's a different time.
That was a different
That was a
night.
different
That was
time.
the margaritas.
Yeah, that was the time you
Yeah.
were going to try one of every margarita.
What is going
that
on?
place
Yeah.
Cleo's a very adventurous person.
Cleo, what was the best margarita that you tried?
Oh god, it was a strawberry one.
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
You can't. Okay, listen. You can't expect me to pronounce every bar, every
I
little
wasn't-
bar, every
I
little place
wasn't
is gonna have its
asking
own
you-
name.
No, I wasn't asking you in order to make fun of you. I was legitimately curious because I too am an enjoyer. I even did a Cleoism just right there where I said and I'm enjoyer of alcohol.
I'm just
That's how I
I'm just
describe my
frustrated that I
affinity for
don't
anime.
remember.
I'm an anime enjoyer.
I am an enjoyer.
An adamant anime
Sorry.
enjoyer.
Choo choo. I'll bring the train back on board.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Put that right back on
I'm
the
sorry.
rails.
I know you were like really inching it closer to like the game, and I just choo choo derailed it. So
Just
I'm
gonna pick this
choo
up and
choo,
put
bringing
it
it
back
back
on the tracks there.
Yeah.
Just a second to
All
think
right.
about that. All right.
So we're gonna get in there with FP and
Yeah.
And I think you said something about Clara.
I sure did.
Wow. My.
These aren't my notes. Sections notes.
I remember what's going on.
I'm
Get it
sorry, just
together,
the
Hughes.
somber music, the silent pause, and then just these aren't my notes.
There's some other DM's notes.
Let's take two. Just
So-
rewind all that.
FP is going to drink deeply from the large shrimp as he ponders life in his new synthetic body.
And then we like close out of the little chibi thing that's right at the beginning of the episode and we get into the real story. FP puts down the shrimp.
Transition.
Okay, recentering. FP, it has only been maybe a minute or two since the death kiss was driven away. And as the rest of the Four Guys staff celebrates near the cockpit of the Cugboat, and the lookouts take up positions preparing to scour the pillar of eternal vigil that you are fast approaching, you have been left alone. The terror inspired by the death kiss is only just beginning to fade, your shaking hands beginning to fumble clumsily with the harness that kept you tethered to the main deck of the Cugboat when you hear the soft tapping of clawed feet approaching. Clara Albuquerque is walking towards you.
Clara is stumbling along with her little shuffling feet. And normally Clara flaps very animatedly, but she's sort of looking down and shuffling along. And she puts a little claw on your shin. Hey, FP, do you have a minute?
Clara. Yes. For you always.
That's very sweet. I was just this is real new to me. The plummeting, new. The fighting of the bad guys, new. Very, very frightening. Can't say I'm a big fan. And I was just thinking about it, and all those guys out there that was fallen. That was real scary. But I just can't stop thinking, like, but you were fallen, and you're brand new. Like, you only just started, and I was really scared for you, and I wanted to ask you, like, how are you feeling? I saw you born. You just became somebody. I mean, you was somebody, but like, you got a beating heart now, and that could have all ended. And I just, it was, I don't know how you could just have done that without thinking. You kept fighting the whole time.
It is a new sensation, to be sure. And now that it is over, and my mind is more clear, I do not know why I was not more affected. Miss Clara, it is terrifying. How does one live with such existential dread, being under constant threat? It is quite overwhelming.
Yeah. So normally, here's the thing. Normally, we don't. We do not. I've been baking, in a tavern for the last, maybe 10, 15 years. I had some time before that where I was doing some studying, but it's been a good time that I've been behind the bar. And, I'd get worried about somebody stealing something. I get angry that food went bad. There's things that upset you. People are frustrating, but you do not normally have to worry that you're going to fall 6 miles. Not a normal worry for a person. This is different. And this is all you've been experiencing. Like, every day is a scary day. And that just, you're just like a little baby person. I don't even understand how you're handling it. Like, I'm grown and I've had a whole life, and you are just starting a life. And it got me thinking, like, that, if this is what you're going to be doing, then we should try and figure out what things that you've been missing. What is something that you've always wanted to do? Do you have things you've always wanted to do?
Yes, I do. And I hope one day to accomplish them.
Let's one day today. Like, clearly tomorrow is not promised to us. While these jokers are out traveling, it sounds like it's going to take a while. Let's try to give you some of your firsts. What are some of your firsts? You've probably never cooked with me before. You've never had that moment where you think you recognize somebody walking down the hallway, but you're not really sure. So you sort of do that nod to them, recognizing that they're a person. You haven't had one of those because everybody is here. I guess you've been skydiving now. We could scratch that off the list. But let's I want you to have some experiences because it's hard here. And it's not fair. It's not fair that a bunch of us have had whole lives and you're just starting and things are so
Clara,
hard.
We have seen other dragons, but they have been either different shapes or different sizes. Unlike you, are you the last of your kind?
Oh, honey, no. I like to think I'm one of a kind, because I'm special. But there's other, so I'm not the only fairy dragon out there. But there's not as many in my town. But that's a good question.
I do not want to be the last of my line.
Yeah.
What would one do to stop this? What would one do to continue their line?
Well, the way I'm trying to do it is I'm trying to meet a nice man out here. Got my eyes on Garlo. He seems real good. But really, I think, you don't really know who you are yet. So I think first you need to figure out who you are. Do we keep calling you FP? Do you want that's like a number practically, right? Should you have a name? But we should figure out who you are.
There's something wrong with my designation.
There's not a thing wrong with you, honey. But if you want something else, you go for something else. I'm trying to tell you that this is your time, and we're gonna do what we can. I'm sure the whole crew would get behind me, but if not, I'll take care of it myself. We're gonna give you some of the experiences you're missing. I'll start by we're gonna cook something every day, try something out, and you can tell me what those new taste buds feel like. But if you're afraid of being the last of your line, you're telling me all the time that we're your family, right? Family is just a line.
Correct.
We're just a line. If something were to happen to me, you would still be here. So if I'm your family, then that family's not over with me. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be scared about that.
But there are others of your kind. How could you be a part of my line being of a different kind? This is puzzling. Perhaps I too shall pursue Garlo and see if he can help me.
I would like to see that. Let's do it.
The little bit of static comes out of the intercom air horn as Bruiser's voice comes over the intercom. Good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your pilot speaking. We'll be docking shortly, so please do prepare yourselves for a quick layover while our leaders disembark. Please do be advised that our next objective is being helmed by Ronald. Oh, call me captain. Do I get to be the captain? The intern, the manager, the intern. And it shuts off really, really quickly. And then the ship begins heading towards the Pillars of Eternity to disembark. And you know what that means. It means it's story time here at the Winged Badger Tavern, and we will be right back.
Sinir, Gonteus, Kotex, Olara. Long ago, the four ancients created a world in harmony. Then, everything changed when the chat emped magic. Only Kelnor, master of good vibes, could stop them, but when the world needed him most, he vanished. 2 years have passed, and 4 adventurers have discovered a conspiracy, a company selling magic. And although their roleplay is great, they have a lot of XP to earn before they're ready to save anyone. But I believe they can save the world.
Welcome back to the Winged Badger Tavern, where friends tell stories. I'm joined by some of my friends. Let's meet them.
My name is Jake, and I just learned that I'm Josh's friend. And I play Alan Woodrear, the Azamar Barbarian Artificer.
And I'm Cleo. I play Fox, the Rogue Bardling, and Changeling, and I too just learned I'm Josh's friend.
This just in, promotions for all of you.
Hello, I am Trevor, formerly the official voice actor of Bruiser, now the voice actor again for Zoth, the orc cleric.
Nice. And I'm Bush. I'm the official voice actor of Jebediah Peppermint, the Moleful gun wizard who spits fire, fires spit. Most recently, FP62, the new little real boy robot who's kind of struggling with life. A synth boy? That'll work out.
Yeah.
There we go. I don't remember. He's that new. He's just figuring things out. And legend tells, at some odd period of time, I became Josh's friend. But you know, it's still shrouded in mystery, so take that with a grain of salt.
Hello, and I am Willa the Wisp, and I play Clara Albuquerque, and I have been demoted from Josh's wife to Josh's friend.
And I'm Josh. I think mistakes have been made this evening. I play everybody else. I'm the DM. So without further ado, let's get back into tonight's Dungeons and Dragons adventure. And we need to set a new scene because 22 weeks after the conversation between FP62 and Clara, 24 miles vertically, wrapping around a 30-mile diameter tower is the rest of our adventurers, the founders of Four Guys Ventures and Vibes. All four guys, for the first time in-game a year and a half, are gathered together in a room as we zoom in on the scene here. In addition, sitting in the center of the floor, cross-legged on a rug, holding a mug of tea, is Kay, the changeling avatar of God of Good Vibes and Hospitality, Kelnor. As you walk into the room, Fox, take us into Fox's headspace, because Fox is in the middle of making a joke. Right? He is holding a broom, a sentient broom that called out to him as you examined the citadel, the abandoned citadel on top of this 30-mile tall tower, literally basically in space. You're up there with little shields of air bubble that Jebediah has cast. This broom is like, I saw a dude, I think he's over that way. And you're like, I guess I'll follow the broom. And you head over to the East Tower. You're the first to reach the door. Walk us through the moment for Fox.
Fox coming up to this door and realizing that potentially this is a culmination really of his life, right? Going from the very beginning, being raised by his parents who were secretly on a mission, probably handed down to them by Kay, growing up disillusioned with Kay and the religion, and, just going off onto adventure only to eventually loop back through this series of meetings and conspiracies and happenings all the way back to having to find Kay. And in a sense, this is him finding Kay both physically and spiritually, coming to terms with his own being as a changeling. I mean, he is literally descended from Kay in that regards. And so how else can he go to this except without a joke? Your adrenaline's pumping, and through this door is someone who has been the founding of your people and is literally the center of the thing that you hated and now are trying to save. And really, it feels like your whole life has led up to. And if you could handle that with a straight face and take it seriously, well, then you're not Fox. Because Fox can't. And so Fox handles it the best he can by opening that door, and with broom in hand, the joke is clear to see. Room service has knocked, and it is here to be.
And Fox,
what he did not expect is what he saw as he came in. And I think that shattered whatever little bit of facade he had worn thin to this moment, just enough to maybe face his creator, but not enough to face his friend that he had thought dead and gone. Zothkug sitting there, relaxing next to Kay,
tea in hand,
has broken Fox's facade. Fox drops the broom and rushes Zothkug and just gives him a huge hug and doesn't let go, holds on tight with everything he has, and just breaks down crying. This is his friend thought dead, returned to him now next to his creator. His thoughts are gone. He is just embracing his friend and accepting that he can at least see his friend for right now. He doesn't know if it's real or not, and he does not care. He's just holding his friend, embracing him, and loving him with as much as he can through this one hug.
I believe the next person in line at the door was Jeb. Jeb, talk to us about what goes through Jeb's mind as he walks into the room, seeing now, I mean, Fox just basically sprinted away from the door. And so now as you walk in, you see Fox crushing Zothkug in a hug. Probably there's a spilled mug of tea on the ground because Zoth was drinking tea before this this full-on hug happened.
Jeb is stunned. And I think as he sees Fox like run over and grab a hold of Zothkug and give him a big hug, I think Jeb falls to his butt. Just like he's just sitting on the ground in disbelief, and his mind's kind of racing, and he's just kind of crying to himself. He's thinking back about when like all of the times that Zoth has supported him, and thinking of writing that letter and kind of feeling the weight of putting that burden on Zoth of having to, to leave him behind and requiring that of him. And I think he's too overwhelmed to do anything. I think he's sitting on the ground in disbelief because his legs just don't work at the moment.
So Alan, Jeb's height probably doesn't change since he's a molefolk when he goes to sitting. So it probably takes Alan a second to realize that he's not moving into the room. And then I assume Alan probably steps gently over him.
Alan first will like put a hand on Jeb's shoulder and just kind of, Jeb, are you all right?
It is.
And
I can't believe it.
And then Alan will look up, and as he looks up and sees Zoth's face over Fox's shoulder as they're hugging, Alan will also like take a step back for a second, and the 2 days or 3 days or whatever it was of Alan working without sleeping to make the revivification machine flash before his eyes, and he just like wide-eyed stares at Zoth and then slowly like steps closer. It's like, how are you real?
Come here, big guy. And Zoth motions for him to come join the group hug.
Alan will also join the group hug, but is still just like wide-eyed. And how?
Don't ask stupid questions. All right.
And Alan will
I don't want to lose him again.
At that, just fully embrace the hug.
Jeb, come on, man. Get in here.
Jeb will crawl to his feet and just slowly walk over, just stunned and in disbelief. How? What? How is this possible?
Well, we'll get into that. Let's just enjoy the moment. As Zoth embraces everyone, and everyone embraces
You
Zoth.
dropped your tea. And Kay picks up the mug and it refills itself with tea. And he hands it up to Zoth. And he hands another one to Fox, who also would have dropped his tea. And then he looks over at Jeb, who's like, approaching the group or whatever, and he goes, "Here, man, have a drink."
Why'd you leave us? If you're alive, why didn't you come find us? How did you get here?
Well, I wasn't alive for that long, man. I don't know how long I was dead for. How long has it been?
What?
It's been more than a year and a half.
It's been almost 2 years.
Okay, how long have we been here, man?
Like up here? Or like...
Since I found you.
Ah, man, that was probably what, like 8 or 9 months ago. Probably.
Really that long?
Well, it took us ages to walk up this tower, like with all
That's
the
right.
smoke breaks we had to take. I mean, I took. You know, it's like it took a long time, man. I mean, I wasn't counting, so we don't have any calendars or anything, but it's something like that probably. It can't have been a whole year. Less than that, more than half a year, somewhere in. It's just like a 6-month range. Just narrow it down.
Just to clarify, you all are real, right? Like this is not a hallucination.
I don't know, man. It could be, I guess.
Alan,
but-
slap me.
What does it even mean to be real, man?
Alan, please. Just
Alan, just for fun, will kind of like, not for fun, but just like kind of in disbelief, shove Fox a little bit, but like also is like only half thinking about that.
Alan, as you do that, you feel almost like a little wall of magical force kind of whoosh over your shoulder from the direction of Kay. And before you can actually impact Fox with your shove, it like kind of repels your hand a little bit, almost like when magnets repel. He's like, look, man, I'd really prefer if we didn't like beat up on each other here, Like we should just keep it laid back.
Oh,
If you need
yeah.
to know if people are real, like, I mean, first, what does it even mean to be real? But like, if you need to know if someone's real, like, just check yourself, man. Like, just pinch yourself real quick. See what it's, be like, oh yeah, that's me, dude. I'm real. Let me check. Hang on.
Fox pulls out a dagger
Dude, I'm
and just gives
totally
himself
real.
a little prick on the thumb, and
It
Watches
feels
it
real.
bleed.
Like it feels right.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah.
and just looks back at Zoth and Kay and is just like, all right, y'all got some explaining to do.
I
All
was
right,
getting there, man.
you're telling me you were stuck up here for months?
Yeah, the airship crashed.
When?
How did you get onto an airship?
Oh, so that's a great story. So when I died, I was just in this like nothingness, I guess, where like there was like a beach, but then there was like Urada in the background, but I couldn't get any closer to Urada, and there were no boats leaving the beach. So I'm just like wandering this place. I don't know how long it was. It was just crazy. And then I met this other guy who was really weird and strange. He was like looking for a boat or something, but he was saying that the ferries aren't in the afterlife aren't working or something since the darkening. And so this guy was trying to make it to Urada, but he wasn't from the material plane. He's from some other plane. And so he was trying to get to Urada, but he didn't have an anchor point. So he's like, I could use you as the anchor point since you're connected there. And I did not have the abilities to get myself there or like a body to come back to. So he's like, I'll do those parts for you if you get us there. So we had this like attunement process or something. And so he got us both to the material plane, and he put me on Kay's airship because I figured you guys were doing something, and I figured I could help get Kay closer to you guys. Because I found out that you guys were doing like something with Thraxenhow or whatever, and so I'm like, I'll go get Kay for them so that that solves a piece of the puzzle that they don't have to worry about. But like, it was really weird, man. It was crazy. I don't know. It was all like weird, but it's like other plane stuff that I don't really get.
That is completely fair, and also extremely smart reasoning on finding Kay. Wow, Jeb and Alan will kind of turn to face Jeb. Did any of that sound like anything you know about?
DM, does that sound familiar to me at all, planar wise?
How about you roll? You can
Okay.
You can try to justify whether you want to use history or arcana or nature.
History, arcana, or nature. I'm going to go arcana.
Classic wizard.
Yeah, he's a
arcana.
wizard.
Oh, do you have your notes in front of you? Are you ready to divulge the
Maybe
secrets of the
wrong session's
multiverse?
Notes. Who knows?
I rolled a 19
He rolled
plus
a
14.
19.
So
Wow.
that's what? 32? 33? That's even better.
Wow,
Wow.
that's a good roll. Articulate to me exactly the information you want. Not because
Ooh.
I'm being stingy, but because I'm trying to be generous.
What Alan was trying to ask Jeb is whether what Zoth just said matches up with the common knowledge of
That is true.
Afterlife, as well as what could be happening now that the darkening has happened with the afterlife and the planes.
Okay.
Jake,
That's what Alan was asking.
could you say that one more time, because the realization that 19 is a crit kind of blew my brain apart, and I didn't
sure.
hear what you said.
What Alan was trying to ask Jeb is whether what Zoth just described is consistent with our knowledge of the other planes and the afterlife, and then also how that would be affected by the darkening.
Yeah. Which is something that Jeb has, I imagine, put a little time and thought into,
course.
with the implications of
And study
his
with all the
daughter.
different libraries you visited.
Yeah.
Okay. So what Zoth is describing is the border ethereal, which is known as, it's like the region of the ethereal plane that touches the material plane. So the material plane where you are has these echo planes, the Shadowfell and the Feywild, which are almost like duplicates laid on top of it. And then the ethereal plane is sort of what connects those three core areas to the greater planescape of existence, of the cosmos, if you will. So the border ethereal is sort of, it's hard to define because it doesn't have geography. When you're in it, the border ethereal, you're on the edge of the beach. And then the ethereal plane is more like an ocean. It's kind of like a wispy, the water of the ocean is kind of cloudy and foggy and weird. You could technically walk out there, but you wouldn't get anywhere. And the idea that a soul would leave the body when it dies and travel to one of the planes seems pretty logical. That line, that kind of tracks with what the historians have written from some of the older books that you've read. And in particular, this concept of the ferries that are not traveling between the planes, that lines up. Like there are supposed to be boats, basically, that each of the outer planes has representatives who are trying to convince people, like, come live in our place, it's wonderful. And so they're trying to sort of, catch is not the right phrase, like recruit souls, basically. This is an opportunity to come be here and come into the domain of this deity, is sort of how it works. And typically, if a creature worships a deity, like Sothkug is a cleric of Kelnor, it would be anticipated that Kelnor would send a representative to go get him, because he is of special interest to that deity. In the inverse, it is also possible that those same fairies could take someone from the outer planes here to the ethereal plane. And this is, if for someone who doesn't know how to travel the planes, this is probably the only means available to them, is find a way to the border ethereal, probably by paying, a high cost wizard or cleric of some kind, and then catch one of these fairies with all that entails. It's probably going to be an exchange to get there. There's probably some transaction that takes place. So all of this tracks. It also, and here's what I'll give you for the crit, the extension of what you've learned is that since the darkening and since the material plane and its two echoes have been severed magically from the other planes, like those fairies can't come here. Essentially, the ocean just goes on forever. There's no other side of it. There's nothing to connect to. That means that Jeb's daughter's soul is on the material plane somewhere, has not been subsumed into nothingness, but has merely been unable to travel into the beyond, so to speak. It hasn't been able to either choose a destination or be recruited to one. it is somewhere on the material plane, which means that Jeb has two options here. If he fixes magic, he could go the necromantic way of trying to put her back into a body, or he could go the, I guess, what would you call the other one? Probably like divine way. You know, he could take the route of trying to escort her soul somewhere or sending a representative to go and get her or whatever. But those are both options that would be available. It would just be a matter of tracking down the soul. And as Zothkug described, when the soul departs the body, it has no essence. So to be able to see it at all would require a being of immense magical power. Like this being that Zoth encountered must have had true sight just to know that he was there, because he was just an essence floating around in a void. It's not like there were footprints to look at or anything like that. Because Zoth didn't have a body there. If you go there with a body, you'll leave footprints in the sand and, you know, it'll be more normal. But Zoth would not have. So those are the different pieces of the puzzle that kind of click for Jeb as he listens to this.
How do you have a body?
The guy I met, he said he'd make me a body or something.
Do you remember the name of the guy you met?
It was something like That's what he told
Alan
me.
has comprehend languages because of the intelligence rod. What language was that in?
Zoth,
Oh, snap!
Zoth, roll performance to replicate a language you don't speak. Let's see.
True.
A 19.
A 19. Zoth does
A 19 crits within my presence.
That's right. Oh, yeah, so Zoth does a perfect job. Not just a pretty good job. Zoth does a perfect job of articulating this name. Okay, well then let me go find his actual name here, because I didn't expect you to translate it, so that's not on my note sheet for tonight. Give me a second.
I am willing to give you as much time to find the actual answer to this.
Yeah, give me a second here.
Sorry, some features of the rod I forget about, and some features the DM forgets about. So
That's right. I just didn't recall it. Okay, the name translates directly in it's almost like in like, you know how Old English is different from English? It's kind of like that, but for the language Abyssal. So it's like a formal, older version of the language Abyssal. And it translates directly to Yivalte, but it is more commonly interpreted in the modern understanding of Abyssal as Demogorgon.
Oh. Can Alan think about what he knows about the name Demogorgon?
He can.
Let's see. What options of rolls will you give me on that one?
I'll give you religion, I'll give you history, and I'll give you survival.
Okay, I'll roll history.
Okay.
Oh, not good at all. That's a 9.
No, you have no idea what that name is.
But
I should have done. No, wait, no. Actually, I get to re-roll it because of the rod of intelligence. Hold on, let me roll. Nope, I got a 9 again. Never mind.
Sometimes
Chronal
the rod of
shift.
intelligence just lets you down. Oh, you got
Chronal shift. Okay.
Yep.
We want to know.
I can't. I got a 10. I can't roll any better. I rolled 5s and 6s on the die.
Thinking a lot over there, dude. Do you want some tea? Help get the brain moving.
Sure. And Alan will take the tea. I believe.
Do you recognize the name?
Well, the name is Demogorgon, translated into common. Does that ring anyone else's bells? I can't think anything. It doesn't sound very pleasant, but I don't know, besides just that sounding somewhat unpleasant, whether that means anything.
DM,
Yeah.
does that sound demonic to me?
It's in an ancient version of Abyssal. It would not be a great leap for you to think that seems demonic.
Oh yeah, and it is in an ancient version of Abyssal. So
Jeb looks down at the Demonomicon.
Tasha's
in his
word.
pack that he recently picked up. Okay, that's interesting. We may have answers in here if that's something that we need to care about. But I get a lot of bad juju from this book, and I'm not sure. Like, we need to make sure that that is important
dude.
and worthy
The vibes
before
coming off of that
attempting
thing
to.
are dark.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'm not even a religious type, and I can feel the vibes coming off of this thing. It's
So, Kay, right?
Yeah. That's me. Hey, you're one of the do the thing where you and he like changes his face really quick into a different face. Do that.
I mirror his face.
Let's go. I thought you were all gone. You must be the last one, dude. Wow.
I really hope not. I saw my parents before this. So what do you what have you been up to?
Mostly I've just been kind of chilling, you know? So here's what happened, right? So I'm in my airship throwing a party and it's lit. And then all of a sudden all my lights go out. And maybe you saw my boat. I parked my boat down at the bottom of the tower.
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah,
near the bottom of the tower. Anyway, I parked my boat because the lights stopped working. I was like, "What's up with my lights, man?" And so I went over and checked them, and it was like, "Well, the lights are like they should be working, but they're not working." And so I like put a little magic in there, and they came back on, and everyone was like, "Yeah, party!" But it wasn't just the lights, man. And I thought it was the lights. It wasn't the lights, because then after that, it was like, then we started running out of food, and then people started starving, and it was like, how am I supposed to decide? Like, I only have so much of my own magic between shrines, right? Like, I gotta go reconnect with Kelnor to get more of the vibes in order for me to put those vibes into the world. And so it's like, I can't be like, you're my favorite, you have the vibes. So I like just kind of chilled and tried to keep everyone comfortable, but like, it's a long time to go without resupplying a boat. And our airship, like, it has a natural, it bounces at a height, you know? So it's like I couldn't land it to get people off the boat. And so mostly everybody on the boat didn't make it. And I was using just like little bits of my own magic just to keep me alive and trying to preserve what I had, you know, between stuff. And it was like, man, this seems bad, dude. And so I was trying to like steer my ship towards this pillar because I knew about this order of wizards way up here at the top. And I was like, dude, I bet they know all about how to survive in tough conditions. They're in space. So I was like, let me go see them. And when I got here, most of them had left. I think they got in a spelljammer and just went, man. And like, I get it, but then also I was stuck here. So then, I've missed a part. So while I was sailing over here, like 3 weeks before I got to the tower, I just woke up one day and this dude was just grinning at me. And I was like, there's only one dude. I have enough magic to make tea for one dude, you know? And so we've been living off tea for a while. He won't join me for Apple Cats, which is weird. But other than that,
I already told you why, man.
Kind of like vibe check guy to have around, you know. In case
that is correct. He is the best at that. Yes,
he has pretty good vibes, and so we kind of keep each other going. Sometimes he gets down, and so I help him like feel better and pick his vibes up. We got to this tower, and I was like, dude, you want to come up to the top of the tower with me? And he was like, sure, dude. So then we came up to the top of the tower, and I brought all the important supplies. He's wearing no pack and has nothing with him except the clothes he's wearing. I brought all the important stuff. He points to the corner where you see just a stack of Apple Cats, like all pre-rolled. So I brought like the essentials And then we've just been up here like kind of doing our thing. And he told me, he was like, yeah, dude, I have these 3 friends and they're like out saving the world. And I was like, that's amazing. Maybe they'll come see us and we can figure it out on this citadel, how to save the world, you know? But also, like, I don't know a whole lot about the world since everything got weird, so I have a lot to learn. So he's been just like telling me about it for a while, getting me up to speed on what's going on in the world. And it's like, whoa, dude, like, it's not great down there.
So
Not good
you're
vibes.
telling me you just been up here. Have you even tried getting down since you've heard all of the going on? I mean,
Yeah, dude, but like, how am I supposed to get down there? What do you want me to do? Jump? We're 6. No, we're not. We're 30 miles up in the air, dude.
you're an avatar, right?
Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. So here's the other thing, is it's like it had been like 2 years when I found out about it. It's been like 3 years now, right? Like, people are resilient in a crisis, right? Like, that's one of the reasons I vibe with the creatures of the more material plane so much. And so it's like they've had 3 years to bounce back. If I just go in there and try and put things to how they were without learning about the culture first, it's like I'm gonna throw off the new vibe just to bring back the old vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just step all over the new system just because I like the old system. You gotta be careful about that kind of stuff.
Great argument, except the fact you've been up here, not learning about any of that.
Whoa, man, this is a lot.
I'm just saying, you could have gotten down. I could get down from here. I could get down from here. I'm not an avatar.
Fox, I completely agree with your point. However, I don't think Kay this isn't his style of communication necessarily. I don't believe.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just, I've lost a leg. We've all almost died trying to find this person stuck up here who's just sitting here chilling while all of us are literally risking our lives trying to find you so we can do this ritual. And you're over here like, well, I don't know. I shouldn't even try because I gotta make sure I don't want to harsh no vibes. The vibes are harsh down there, okay? You're not gonna harsh them anymore.
All right, look, man, I can see that you're upset. And I don't want us to get off on the wrong foot here. So I would love if we could all just take a deep breath really quick, just like in and then out again. Look, we can work this out. But when you yell really fast, it's hard for me to catch all the words just because of the way I'm vibing.
Alan then goes, Apple Cats to Fox.
So what I really need is for you to like say it just like chill, man. Just like get with the vibe. This is a safe-ish place with a little bit of atmosphere. And so I just want us to like relax a little bit and talk about what comes next. And we'll figure it out.
Yes, Fox, I appreciate you so much, Fox. I think, do you mind if I try to explain our predicament to Kay? As I'm sure Zoth has done a decent job of laying out, but
I'm just trying to figure out.
No, I
what an avatar that
I understand.
These magical beings could possibly have been doing this entire time, which clearly has a situation explained to him, while we are risking our lives, while my parents are dying, while my entire race is being wiped from the face of this earth. I'm just wondering if how's it going up here with the Apple Cats? I'm a little disconnected. Not really understanding.
That makes complete sense, and I think that is something that I also would like Kay to perhaps think a little bit more deeply on, and for him to be able to articulate to us as well. But also, to be fair, no offense, Kay. This is Kay we're talking about. So I think we had to expect a little bit of this going in. But Kay, I will say thank you so much for taking care of our dear friend Zoth, and Alan will turn back to Zoth. I still cannot express how happy I am to see you.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm happy to see you guys too. And Kay, I told you about like the ritual that needs to happen. Don't you remember?
I remember, dude. I was trying to let the conversation get there because that's gonna be the problem point. Is the ritual, right? And so I was trying to let
Why
us
would you
ease
consider
in.
it a
See, now we're out of
problem
order.
point?
We
No,
have-
I don't think that actually. Nope. If we're thinking about, well, okay, explain it in your order, and then I'll make sure that we get
Yeah,
the right
man.
things covered.
I'm gonna take a step out because I don't.
Hey, you dropped me on the floor. Can you take me with you?
Yeah,
Can
you know
I just
what?
really don't want to be left behind again.
Listen, me and the broom are going for a walk.
The broom? Why do you have a broom, man?
I can't handle it. I'm taking the tea. Fox just grabs the broom without saying anything else in the tea and just
This is
leaves.
gonna be awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Let's go. Let me show you around. This will be really cool. There's some corners I've been meaning to sweep for like 3 years because that's what everybody left. So if we just like go for a little tour and then you just like walk off.
Fuck it.
The broom is with you.
Alan, what's with this broom?
Oh, I think it might be. You remember Shadow Walker?
His leg?
Was Zoth around for Shadow Walker?
Zoth,
Yes.
I think was around for Shadow
Okay,
Walker.
okay.
Yep.
Not for him getting removed. I don't
I don't
think.
think Zoth ever knew Shadow Walker was like a vengeful spirit.
No.
Okay, I think this is I hopefully not another Shadow Walker situation. Shadow Walker ended up being evil,
What?
and needed to be destroyed. Yeah, and the broom is talking to him in the same way that Shadow Walker used to. So I don't know if
That doesn't
Fox just
sound
has
good,
like
man.
an attraction towards like inanimate objects that speak to
Are evil?
him and maybe are evil. Either way, Kay, I would
think he
love
was-
to hear what you have to say, because you describing the cataclysmic ritual as a problem or a pain point doesn't
Yeah,
exactly
man.
bode much confidence in me.
All right. So let's just start off with the easy stuff here. And he takes a deep breath from one of his apple cats and he puffs out a smoke ring that kind of flutters through the room, and all of you gain the benefits of a long rest.
Oh,
And if you have any lingering exhaustions, or like Alan developed a scar on the way up here, the scar kind of like closes and like there's no soreness in it or anything like that. Like it's,
oh,
it's
does my
just visual.
scar from a previous fall also go away?
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah. So Alan's scarredness goes away.
I would say Alan has a big scar on his arm and one on his face that
Yeah.
Zoth maybe didn't see previous. Didn't.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, those
It
are
all
new,
just,
and
like,
then now it's like, oh, those are gone, or faded at least.
Kind of like smoothed over. You feel a little bit refreshed, mentally present again. And he goes, "All right, great. Now that you guys are thinking on my level, let's just talk about what's going on here, right? So I understand from what Zothkug has been telling me that like the world's not the world's different, right? Like there's no magic, but then they found this cool discovery with the Sacrium and everything, right? And it's like, that's what I'm talking about when I say people are resilient, right? Like people will find a way when there isn't necessarily a way forward. They'll like figure one out. And so
I
like,
would agree if it didn't turn out that the Wingle Digits and Sacrium were mostly being used for evil purposes by the Aboleths, which I'm sure you've also been filled in on.
okay, but like, let's back up to what evil is here, right? Like, here's the deal. According to Zothkug, there are armies that are like occupying all over the world, but they're not hurting anybody. Like, they're just destroying places, man. It's basically a huge remodeling effort. It seems like even in the places where there's resistance, it's not like a ton of resistance where there's these big battles. It's like there's guerrilla resistance that creates the conflict. So
We
you
just-
might not
I
have been
mean-
around for this, but like a while back, there was this thing where from the floating city of Scylla, they like formed this army and they like marched over to Rust Free because they were looking for materials, but like they didn't end up hurting anybody.
That was me.
Yeah,
I was
okay,
yes.
so you were that army. So that army that was you, marched over there, but they didn't hurt anybody. They just like went over there and established a new setup. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we're talking about respecting the culture and the vibe, it's like, well, if this army's not hurting people, like
Alan's head is in his hand.
Is the right word, you know? What if it's better this way? Like,
I did tell you though that the Abelis, have the mind control that they've been using on people.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, so the fish thing's not great. Not a big.
Well,
fan
yes,
of the fish.
the fish things are Alan. Alan, just okay. I would like if it is all right, I would like you to pause momentarily while I poke some holes in what you were just saying.
Takes a sip from a mug.
Alan realizes in his head that, oh my God, I am speaking to the god the avatar of the god that represents the opposite of everything that I build my entire set of values on. So Alan goes, as I said, I was a part of that army, and you are correct. We did not harm anyone. It turned out that we were marching towards an enemy that had fled long ago and was completely occupied by a completely different conflict. They weren't even on our radar, or we weren't even on their radar of threats. They were gone,
man. Whoa.
Well, it's an expression of an idea that I've had. Anyways, it's hard, yeah. But all of that to say, even so, years later, I myself have had second thoughts about what we would have even done if we reached there and there was opposing armies for us to attack. Also, we have been a part of 2 large-scale battles in which there were many casualties on both sides. One at the domain of Thraxenhau, where the minions of the Aboleth massacred monks of an order that didn't even know that the Aboleths were attempting a takeover until we got there only a week or several days before the attack begun. We were just at Geim, where they have been laid siege to. Siege is not a non-violent tactic. Siege is the art of starving and choking an enemy city until it can no longer afford to stay that way, until it is forced to surrender and sustain casualties. Those are not non-violent tactics. The dwarves in Clan Trukta have been forced out of their homes. The king himself had to migrate to Geim. It's not a non-violent occupation that these Aboleths and the Aboleths who are at the center of this are orchestrating. It is a forced takeover. Do you not have something to say about, also from your own personal experience, the fact that you've lost connection to your god, and the fact that the natural order of your connection to your god and your connection to magic has been interrupted?
I hear you. I want you to feel heard, and like I'm listening to what you're saying. And I understand you, man. And you're right, sieges are bad vibes. But what you're not understanding is that I'm a representative. Sorry, chat got me. I'm a representative of the god of good vibes and hospitality. See what I'm saying? Like, I'm not out here to be a violent force in the world. I don't think Kelnor would want that from me. And until I can get in touch with him and ask about it, I'm like, I should stay my hand from violence, and I should be chilling.
Wash has a hand up. Is it a DM question?
Can I make an insight check?
Yeah.
$18.
To the best
Do
of your
I
knowledge,
get-
everything he says is truthful. Oh, I'm sorry. You had a specific question.
Yeah. Do I get an air of self-preservation out of this in relation to my knowledge of the cataclysmic ritual?
Yes, but it doesn't feel selfish.
Okay.
But yeah, you get the idea that he is holding something back that he hasn't said to Alan as far as his resistance. Like the reasons that sound ridiculous maybe are.
If I understand the good vibes, Alan kind of like says that with a little bit of like a whatever that means. But you admitted yourself sieges, for example, are bad vibes. Do you just need evidence of bad vibes in order to motivate you into action, or is there something else that is keeping you from, once again, and you haven't necessarily gotten to this part yet, but the problem or pain point of the cataclysmic ritual?
Nah, dude. Wait, so two bad vibes don't make a good vibe. This is a really common misconception. You remember, Zoth, we were just talking about this like a couple months ago, right?
Yeah,
Where it's
man.
like, and then again, like a couple weeks ago, because we only have so many things to talk about up here. But like two bad vibes don't make a good vibe. So if I were to go down there and like beat a bunch of people up, right?
We
Let's
aren't
say I
asking
went
for
down
you
there
to beat a bunch
and
of
I
people
did
up.
like magic and we did war. At the end of that, there's still gonna be someone who's like, dude, you did all this war. I'm upset at you. And the bad vibes are just gonna compound on each other.
Is it a resistance of you yourself being the one to act in violence? Because we don't want you to do anything that you do not want to do. In fact, the avatars on our ship, the only one who was actually really engaged in any violence on our behalf has been Garlel. And that's, I think, just because Garlel wants to.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a wild card. It's hard to get him out of the spotlight. He's a guy who likes to live in the spotlight.
But all of the other avatars, all of the other living avatars, I also don't know if you were ever informed of this. It would make sense if you weren't, but Do Bumblefoot sadly has passed. But we have all of the other remaining living avatars on our ship with us, ready to help in this endeavor. Does that motivate you at all? Is there something else that I'm missing here?
You convince all the other avatars to do this cataclysmic ritual?
Yes.
It's a hypothesis, man. We haven't done it before. It's a thing that we were like, this might be magic. That seems dangerous. Let's make it impossible. Let's split it up among the avatars, magically destroy the knowledge of the parts we're not supposed to be custodians of, and take far away from each other. Like,
Laredith seems confident that it will work, and
of course she
I
is.
mean,
Laredith's a tinkerer. She always thinks her stuff is gonna work. But
has she ever been wrong?
Of course she's been wrong, dude. Have you ever seen one of those lightning cannons? Only half of them even fire.
Ours fires. Alan just is kind of like,
Well, lucky for you, man. That's great. But that seems like it's more in Garlel's territory, the statistical odds and whatever. Look, what if we screw up this ritual that we made up together one day while I was the only one in my right mind because I was the only one smoking an apple cat, and then the world's no better off? What if it gets worse, man? Like, what if they're like, oh, we're going to change the fabric of history and we're going to rip these things out? What if instead they rip everything else out and all that's left is these stupid fish? Man,
I think that is the inevitable.
It's not like we get a second shot at it. Like, the rod gets scattered by the ritual, man. Every time you put the pieces together, you use it if you're lucky. Otherwise, it just kills you. But if you're lucky, you use it, and then it blows up. And you gotta go find it again if you screw it up. I can't imagine the Biggies being down with that. What if we're wrong about the rod being split up? What if it's consumed? What if we're responsible for destroying the dust of 72 eons of world? This is only one. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you mean. I just don't
look
know
at it
if
from
you
that
know.
point of view,
I
and then
underst-
tack on underneath that people are resilient. People find a way through times of crisis. And so if we're in a situation where we are disconnected from our deities, but we've found another way to have magic in the world, maybe that's the better way. Look how accessible these freaking ciphers are to people. There are people who have never done magic before who are like, I can do magic now. And what if, when we reverse it, if we can reverse it, but what if by reversing it, we just create conflict between everyone instead of conflict between small group of aboleths and people who are mostly not being like harassed by it. I agree. Gaim is being harassed. They're an outlier. I'm not sure why, but I would note that all the times you've seen conflict with these armies, you've been there. Now, what if instead of that, we put everything back the way it was? And what if in that world, all the people whose magic has been taken from them and then like the traditional mages, right? What if they suddenly get all prideful and it becomes a caste system, and then the people who lost their magic because the Sacrium doesn't work anymore, now they're what, less than? But they've probably spent 3 years being all excited about the opportunity they have. What if that turns into resentment, right? What if bad vibes build on bad vibes, and suddenly you're in a world where it's not even safe to admit you're a mage anymore? Like, come on, man. Think about the consequences of your actions. You got to sit down and just slow it down, chill the vibe, mellow out, and think about what comes next. And that's what I've been trying to explain to Zothkug, who really wants me to come down, I think just because he loves you guys so much. But hey, Zoth, your friends are here now. Like, it's okay. They made it. Like, I just don't think we should act so hastily, and I really don't think we should try and perform this cataclysmic ritual.
Jeb is going to walk up to Kay and like sit down cross-legged and be like, whoa, man, that's some crazy vibes you're talking about. What a odd way that could go. Owlin, I think he might be onto something.
Alan gives Jeb like an eyebrow.
And Jeb like sips his tea to try to conceal his face for a second.
With that nat 20 on the die, Garlow's like, dude.
Garlow.
Garlow.
Not Garlow. Okay. He's like, dude, what are you doing right now? Are you mocking me, or are you trying to hide something from me?
I'm trying to learn from the master. I never really got this vibe stuff, but I don't know. It makes a little sense, you know, to not, you know, if we try the thing, right? Whoa. And it ends up like not working, then, you know, that's really terrible,
That's
right?
what I'm saying,
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the aboleths will just like destroy the world anyway, and the planes, and the gods will have to like wipe everything out and start all over, right? So, oh man, all those people in their current vibe, they're just dead anyway. So whether we destroy it or they get destroyed, you know, what's even the point?
Fox comes back in,
He
holding
leans-
the broom.
Kay leans back so that he's laying flat on the floor, his belly protruding higher than his face so that he's kind of hidden behind it. He's got a little bit of like a lazy dude's bod. And he, you know, he kind of sits there, his big like, baggy V-neck shirt kind of draped across him. And he's like, whoa, dude. I didn't think about like that the aboleths might destroy everything. I thought their whole bit was that they wanted to rule stuff. There's gotta be stuff to rule, right? Like,
It depends, I guess,
what if
on what
they
you
do
consider
destroy everything?
destroying. They definitely could physically destroy anything, or they could destroy the
Right, but,
concept
like,
of
so
free
far
will. They could
so
destroy
far
the
they-
concept of free will by
Now hold on.
enslaving
Now, hold
everyone.
on.
whoa, man.
I don't think the aboleths are going to destroy everything, but as I understand it, and Jeb kind of just like twirls the rod of luck around in his hand a little bit. The gods have been destroying this world. They keep trying. The abelisks keep winning, and the gods have to destroy everything and start over. And the abelisks, those pesky abelisks, vibing along with their negative vibes, keep coming back and messing things up. And this one time where the gods are like, hey, you know what? Let's do something different. Let's make these rods with the essence of all the past ages, the ones that didn't work, right? The one that the abelisks overrun and overtook and messed all up. Let's take the essence of that and put it into these magical artifacts so that maybe when the time came, those abelisks could stop it or could be stopped and break the cycle. But who am I to question the motives of the gods? Maybe they were wrong. Maybe they were just like, ooh, we're just going to make some sticks and throw them down there and let people dooble around with them if they want. It's not a thing. It's not, we should just now that we have them all in one place and all of the stars are lining up and the time's lining up and, all into the last puzzle piece. Now that we're all here, it doesn't really feel like the vibe. Maybe we just shouldn't and let the abelisks take over and, make everything all dark so the gods can wipe things out again. Maybe the next generation will be fine. And, all the people that are here that have their souls can't move on because the planes are all busted up. Maybe those people can just get vaporized and their souls not move on with the last ages. I presume their souls, they got to move on or whatever. So maybe we just, not do that with this one. And because you don't want to add negativity into this. I mean, this is a bad situation, right? Two bad vibes don't make a good vibe.
Exactly.
So we don't want to make this any worse, right? So let's just not do anything, man. And Jeb sips his tea.
All right, what am I coming back to?
Hang on. Sorry, DM intrusion here. Are you tell me what you're attempting to use to convince Kay to act or justify a role and make one. So you could be trying to persuade him, you could be trying to intimidate him. If you're trying to offend him to get him into action, that I would put that maybe with intimidation or maybe performance. I don't know. You could justify a skill to me because I'm not sure exactly what angle you're trying to wing at here, but you've definitely said enough to try and move him. For sure there's a role here. You can kind of justify the skill you want into.
So I'm not really trying to intimidate him. And I'm not really trying to, maybe I'm trying to persuade him. I'm not proficient in guilt, but after all of that, I feel like I should be. But I'm
trying to guilt trip him.
But I'm deception, bluff.
Well, but see, I don't think he's telling a lie.
Right.
I guess
bluster,
probably is persuade.
Bluff. Okay.
Yeah,
I think a guilt trip is a persuade.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
You can roll at advantage because you did a good job with the roleplay for sure.
When Fox comes in, Alan, who's now wise to what Jeb is doing, he turns to Fox and says, I think we are giving up.
Fox,
we've come all this way.
As you walk up the stairs to the tower and back into the room, Alan says, I think we're giving up. Meanwhile, in the back of your mind, you hear, thanks a lot, man, for helping me sweep up that corner. I know it's weird because it's a round room and it's there are no corners, but it's there's still an edge where the thing meets the ground. And it's these wizards, they never sweep anything up because they're I'm going to have to use more spell components. Maybe I need that dust. And so it's really difficult to get them to clean anything up after themselves.
Shut up!
So I rolled an 11.
Loud? Yes.
I rolled an 11, but I'm feeling pretty lucky.
Wait.
In this moment.
Wait.
Yeah.
Already having the rod of luck out and just kind of doing it and around. I'm feeling, this might be a pretty lucky instance.
So I'm gonna dive into the mechanics here for a second because otherwise you're gonna be it's not working like the rod is supposed to work.
Also,
sure.
I was gonna say, when somebody makes a charisma-based roll, I can force the re-roll, and I'll do that so you don't waste one of your lucky charges.
Okay. Fox
Frosted Lucky Charges is my favorite cereal.
Try again.
Try again.
All right.
Please tell me you have something better to say.
That's still a 10 with a +1 for a total of 11.
No.
But I would like to use one of my charges from the
So-
Rod of Luck to try to force it to succeed.
So there are layers of opposition here that you're working your way through. Basically, you're dialoguing your way around the different obstacles in Kay's path. So basically, using your success, I'm giving you 2 obstacles getting knocked out instead of 1. So
Okay.
you may still find obstacles. That's why I wanted to explain, because
No, that's
he's
fine,
still
that's
going to
fine.
have some resistance, but you're much closer. And he finally he lays there and he thinks about it for like an agonizing amount of time. Like 2 full minutes go by where he's just laying there, the smell of apple cats on the incense plates wafting around the room, Fox looking from Jeb to Wash, who have said they've given up. Zothka, what is
Jeb to
Zothka
Wash.
doing in this conversation?
Fox,
Or, yeah,
Fox,
Jeb to-
who are you yelling at? Are you yelling at the broom?
Yes, I'm yelling at the broom.
Why are you yelling at a broom, man?
Jeb?
Yeah.
Is what you just said part of your plan? It's a part of a plan.
I mean,
Alan,
there's only
tries
ever
to give
been
like
one
a side
plan.
eye thumbs up, like just like a yeah.
Can't do
There's
it.
only ever been one plan, right?
Kay sits up. Can't do it, man. Can't do it.
Can't
the
do what?
ritual. Can't do the ritual.
Hey.
And his voice like kind of sobers up. It's like, can't do the ritual.
Okay. I know what it's like to be scared.
Dude, I haven't been around as long as some of the other guys. Okay, maybe Garlo's had time to like follow through on all his promises and stuff, but like, I made a promise to, I guess, just this guy. He points over at Fox, because the rest of my anointed are dead. That I would ring in the month of Mellow, and I haven't done it yet. And if we do this ritual, I literally can't.
So wait, are you telling me the only argument that you have right now is you have to keep a promise to the people who you've let die, and I am the only living member, and I am what's stopping you from doing this cataclysm? Is that what you're suggesting?
Sorta. We're gonna cut from this story down to FP62 and Clara, because
Oh my.
22 weeks and a day of conversation have gone by in this adventure. I want to check in on one of the sensory experiences that FP is getting to have. One of the like, oh, we're gonna experience some life things. Clara, what have you been bullying FP62 into do, or what is FP excitedly doing today?
So when we found Kay's airship, we found a supply room with a little, like a storage of food that was on the airship that they were not able to take up the mountain because there was only room for apple cats, apparently. So Clara has recovered a lot of the supplies, and she is back to being chipper as she's able to create in her kitchen. She has a notepad that she's carrying with her in her front apron pocket at all times, where she is keeping notes of the kinds of foods that FP enjoys and does not enjoy. And so we're honing in on his tastes. So today she's given him, he gets plates of like lots of little bites of things so he can try lots of things each day. There's a lot of other people on the ship who were like, why is she only giving like special treatment to like, I'm hungry too. I'm also like a fugitive. And she's like, shut up, you're fine. But he's finishing up eating, and she's waiting and watching him very closely for his reactions and taking notes before taking him into the next sensory experience she's got planned for him. All right. Tell me honestly what you're thinking right now.
So much like Winnie the Pooh, with a napkin tied around his neck and a fork and a knife in each hand, sitting at the table, kind of wiggling to himself excitedly, because it's that time of the day where Clara is like bringing like the fun food stuff. FP is looking a little round in the cheeks. He's not like overweight, but he's not like super slender, chiseled, synthoid anymore, and he's putting on a little something, and he's got a little happiness, a little happy glow around him.
He's rosy.
Oh, Clara, I do hope that there will be nothing spicy today. That was not, that was not enjoyable before or after. Such a curious condition.
We call that explosive.
A dish that Gunnar would be proud of for sure.
That's right. That's his favorite. Remind me how you feel about cinnamon?
Oh, it is quite a treat.
Good. Okay, I've got you converted. All right. Have you finished up? Are you done with this plate? Are you good?
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on. And he takes
right.
a crumb, and he yes, thank you.
Gunnar! Get in here.
Yeah. Oh.
Dishes.
Yep. All right. I mean, if I do these dishes, will you let me cook again tomorrow?
You know what? You got it. Just maybe keep the explosive on the, keep that low. We're gonna keep the spices low for our friend here.
I thought he liked it. Gunnar slowly walks away.
I was happy to try it.
Well, that's something.
You're doing great, honey. I appreciate you. It would take me hours to carry all these dishes out. He's got the big bin to put all the dishes in, and Gunnar just carries it out in one. You're beautiful. You're one of a kind. I love you. Now get out. All right. So I've been thinking. I'm really excited about this one, FP. I've been thinking about what experiences you maybe haven't had yet. All right. And I don't know if you've ever really had this before, but I know that the way I do it is a one of a kind. So are you all ready? All right, we're going to try something here.
I am completely dumbfounded and do not know what to expect. As usual, as always, I am excited.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. All right. So Clara leans in across the table and she goes, all right. How heavy is a dragon?
Potentially, depending upon the given site or size and dimensions, between 1 and 2 metric tons.
Good answer. That's what I was thinking you was going to say, something along those lines, but really.
But not a fairy dragon such as yourself, of course.
That's right, I'm
Wink.
petite. The real answer here is it depends on the scales. And as she tells the end of her joke, she activates her euphoria breath, which causes people to fall into raucous laughter.
That was raucously laughterous.
It's his first belly laugh now that he's breaking in a little bit of a belly. It's good. It's good. Thanks for humorously, FP. What else is on your list?
You know, Miss Clara, I was talking to Garlel a couple weeks ago. He turned down my proposition and cleared up some things for me on the nature of relationships and lines.
We call it the fairy dragons and the avatars around here. But yes. Go on.
He mentioned to me that lineages typically, when one thinks of their line, they think of the lineage that comes after them, such as I have been considering, but that the lineage precedes before them as well. And while I don't see a way for me to bend the rules of time and reality to create a lineage before myself, my focus has been primarily on the latter. But in light of that, would it be too much for me to ask you to, well, this is awkward. I've heard others on the ship mention how their mothers cook wonderful food for them when they were children.
Love a mother, yes. Mm-hmm.
And you do the same for me.
Wonderfully, in fact. Yes.
The meals you've made, I have a hard time forgetting. And even though they may seem small in size, they mean quite a bit. Would you be a part of the lineage before me?
Like a young beautiful aunt, or like a young mom. Oh my goodness. It would be my honor and my privilege to help cater to your growth, which is what families do, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I would love that. I ain't got any kids, but I feel like treating people, taking care of them is what I do best. That's my calling. I don't know if you've got a calling, but that's my calling, my goal, as it were, right? And you fall right inside that. It's been an absolute privilege watching you learn and watching you figure out yourself. I've never met anybody who, never had cinnamon before. Like, this is so exciting. I'm having a wonderful time. I do want you were talking about the lineage down after you though, and I'm wondering, like, we saw something crazy happen that kind of made you, but you're not the only construct, right? I used to call you like a hat rack. I don't know if that's offensive, but there were others of you on your made at the store, right? Maybe we could find a way to make some of them like you are now, and they could be part of your line. Is that a thing? I don't know. We could ask somebody.
It is a curious thought, and one that I have considered, Mama, but I would like to explore the options. I am uncertain, but that is definitely something that I have been thinking about. I do have a strong desire to free my brothers and sisters who are in shackles by the aboleths. But I, as of yet, do not know how to replicate the arcane conditions that brought awareness to me while still in my mechanical form. So much to discover. I am hopeful, and I look forward to speaking with Jebediah when he returns.
That's who I was thinking of too.
This is something that,
inconvenient.
yes, that he might be able to help me.
Speaking of Jebediah, we will jump back to the top of the Pillar of Eternal Vigil, where Fox has just asked, "Do you mean that your whole obstacle to doing all of this is me?" And Kay has been like, "I mean, sorta. Like, look, I haven't been around very long. I made this promise for the month of Mellow. If we do this ritual, I can't keep it." It's like, yeah, man, sorta.
Why can't you keep it, man? Like, you could do it as a celebration of getting rid of the fish things.
No, you don't understand. Like, I literally can't. Like, if we do this ritual in order to get to the fabric of reality, Laridus could probably explain this better than me.
Hey, you know what?
Basically, it takes more than arcane magic, man. The rod only
simple
has
solution.
Arcane magic. The ritual's going to consume divine magic too. If there's no weave, where does that magic come from?
No, I mean, if we beat the Avalist, then the weave comes back, and then you can have the month of Mellow as a celebration.
No, you're not
Zoth.
hearing me.
He's right, Zoth. And this is something that this is why we can't force it on him. But we just need everybody to know the gravity of the situation. It's something that I'm going to stop the vibe voice because it's starting to grate a little bit. But
oh man, but we were doing so good.
Okay, yeah, man. So we talked about it with Garwell and some of the others. Well, I did, and I didn't really want to bring it up to everybody.
That makes sense.
I
Well, no, what,
now
man?
that I think I know what it is you are referring to, I wish it had occurred to me sooner, or that you had told me. But I think I can predict what is about to be said.
Part of the cataclysmic ritual, man, is that all of the avatars need to sacrifice their lives to power it. It's a great leveling. And I would like to emphasize that every time that we've talked to Laredith, every time we've talked to Garlel, and they have been pushing this forward and encouraging us and enabling us and helping, they've done it every step of the way with full knowledge that it's where they end.
They have had time to fulfill the wishes and promises of their deities. Laredith got her army to rest free. Garlel built his floating library and his cartography guild. Zanir messed with his scales and he picked up his mountaintop. And all of those people's representatives have had a chance to enforce the will of their deity in the world. My deity had one proclamation. One. And it was to usher in the month of Mellow. And I have not done it yet. You are asking me to be the only avatar in the history of Urda to turn away from the wishes of his deity.
Well, now that, man, I think is maybe a step too far, because I don't think that's actually what we're asking, right? You know, to be fair, man, that you didn't mention that before we asked you, and we didn't know. I mean, and I think that, you know, when you think about it in the light of this vibe, man, that's important, right?
Yeah,
right,
man.
guys, right?
Yeah,
I agree. I do believe
So you're
that it is
saying
important.
that
Fox,
No,
I think
no,
we know
no.
what he's saying.
No, because I don't. All right, listen. You're telling me that all of my people's lives, my parents' lives, my life means it's all just gone away. So that way you. And we're just going to let that happen, and it's going to be nothing, just so you can have the satisfaction of not feeling like a failure.
No, man. Man. And Jeb, like, stands up and puts a hand on Fox's shoulder. He's like, nah. What he's saying, yeah, there you go. What he's saying is that despite everything going on, he wants to do this for you. That you're important enough to him, and that the connection between you and him and Kelnor is significant and big enough that he can't break that promise, because you are that important.
But I do believe that there is a way that we can both be I guess excited or fulfilled by our plan of action. And
you're right.
Now, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm sorry, Alan, but hold on.
I think you're gonna like where I'm going with this, but that's okay, I guess.
This may be exactly. Yeah, Jeb like stands up like on the little coffee table in the middle, and he holds his. This may be what we need. The world is in chaos, and they're forgetting the gods, and their minds and hearts are primed towards this evil vibe, man, that the Abelisks are building. And the return of Kay and the month of Mellow on the ship that sails the world and brings good vibes back to everything and sets the world back in order before the cataclysmic ritual could unite the world. Before it all, do you see what I mean?
Okay. I have two things for you.
Yeah, I actually meant you when I said you were having a moment, but I appreciated what you said too, little dude.
I'm gonna take an apple cat.
Yeah, right, dude.
Is that okay?
Light one up. He lights you a fresh one, hands it over.
Secondly, Let's make a deal.
What are you proposing?
I help you fulfill your promise. Whether or not you live to see it, I will bring about the month of Mellow.
I'll help you, Fox man.
You're gonna bring the month of Mellow around? You do that for me?
I believe what Zoth just was saying about himself, and I think about the rest of us as well, is that we would all be more than overjoyed to bring about the month of Mellow.
I'll do it, not for you, Kay, but I'll do it for my parents and for my people, and hell, even for Kelnor.
I'll do it for you, Kay.
But I think in that, I don't know if what Jeb suggested is necessarily prudent time-wise, as we spent a long time getting up here.
No,
we will have to
listen.
spend a lot of time going back. But I believe what Fox is suggesting, which is that we do the cataclysmic ritual first, and when we are successful, we bring about the month of Mellow. Because
It will be celebrated
in that
annually.
way- exactly, it will be celebrated annually, and in that way, Kay, you would be bringing about the month
Listen,
of Mellow, because
you
we
guys
can't
understand
do it
the
without
logic.
the cataclysmic ritual.
You understand the logic, and me and Kay get that, but I need Kay to understand, and I think we need to connect on this. That this is I am taking an avatar's charge, and I mean it. I will fulfill this promise with you, or if I must do so, alone.
You won't be alone, man.
You get what I'm saying, Kay, right?
Kay sits forward and he's looking you right in the eyes, but he's tipping the ash from his apple cat into a sigil on the ground in front of him. And then when he finishes drawing the little magic circle, those of you who were there, I don't know how many of you were standing right next to her, but those of you who were there recognize him drawing a legend lore ritual cast on the ground. And he does it for 10 minutes the whole time. He doesn't look away. He blinks. It's not creepy, but he doesn't look away from Fox the whole time he's doing it. And then with a of like dust kind of erupting off the ground, he slams his hand into it and whispers something. And almost like Doctor Strange watching all the possibilities, you see him watching through whatever the legend lore of Fox is. And as the puff of smoke drifts away, he goes, "I believe you, dude. Let's go visit a dragon." And he stands up, much like I don't know why they're all Marvel references. He looks like Beer Body Thor. He stands up, and much like Beer Body Thor being rejuvenated, he tosses aside his apple cat and he picks up a walking stick that was leaning against the wall, and he's like, "All right, I'm in. Let's do it.
Glad to have you aboard, man.
Let's
Glad
go,
to be
guys.
here. Hey, on the way out, I'm gonna need to hit the bathroom." And on that note, tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session comes to a close.
Woo!
Thanks everybody for hanging out for this D&D adventure.
Wow.
And yeah, wow.
Crazy.
Should we vibe?
That went
for a
by
little
way
bit?
too fast.
Should we?
We can vibe.
We can vibe for a little bit.
I may not vibe for a super long time as I have an early morning flight.
He's harsh in the vibe.
I am harsh in the
man.
vibe. I'm
Harsh in the
sorry.
Look at him
vibe.
harsh.
Such a harsher.
Man, early morning flights just really mess with the vibe, man.
You know what?
Yeah, man.
I have to say,
No,
I
more
think I have
Kay.
to give some credit to Belly.
Why is
I
that?
always
was gonna-
give credit to Belly, man. Belly always gives the credit.
Belly is the real MVP. That was one of the trivia questions I had for you guys when you came over. I was like, I'm gonna have you all free answer who is the real MVP, and the true answer was only Belly. Like, I was not gonna accept any other real entries. I was like, it's Belly.
I was gonna say, he DM'd me on Twitch, right? And it did have me thinking in the right mindset going into addressing Kay. But Belly mentioned, like, what if you just what if you just forced, and Tim to a point where you're like, fine, I'll do it. I'll be the
he
avatar.
did? Oh my gosh, real MVP! I'm telling you, I was so grateful that you did the bop for me, because I was like, we always forget the bop. Somebody do the bop. Like, let's just be sure. I'm so grateful, and you did it perfectly. Like, it was very, very in Fox's character.
But man, I think that also ties greatly into Fox's character, and I was just like, I have to.
It's a great session for Fox. So much
What
fun.
a growth arc Fox has been on this whole story.
Yeah.
Like, just what a journey you have portrayed for him.
Isn't Fox like maybe 17 now?
Yeah, Fox is.
Fox was
is a
like
babe in the woods.
emo teenager.
So
Emo
I want you to know,
teenager.
like, if you were the fast forward, like, in a supposed what if future that Fox is alive and we make it through all this, Fox is gonna be sitting somewhere smoking apple cats and be like, yo, man, I can't believe what I just went through all those years ago, man. Did you understand? You don't understand where I'm coming from. I went from a disbeliever to taking the charge from an avatar.
Fox is getting invited to speak at conventions and stuff. To share his story.
He only shows up half the time.
Yeah, when I do show up, it's with a heavy schmog of apple cats.
That's crazy that Fox is 17, though. I guess I never really processed that. Owlin is 44, which
I have a
is
question,
not that
yes.
old for an Azamar, but yeah.
Alan was in his 30s and he aged 8 years from a spell, right? Did it ever get reversed, or is he still?
I think he's still aged 8 years, yeah, so that's why he's 44 on my character sheet. I adjusted it when that
Oh
happened.
my gosh, I draw him so young. I should work on that. Okay.
Zoth
age
is
him up and
25.
Give him some good
Nice.
scars.
So Zoth is a
Okay.
little
I
bit
guess.
older than Fox. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, lots of fun watching Clara and FP. Like,
Oh yeah.
adopt
the
each
most
other.
wholesome moment. I was like, oh,
It was
my
so
goodness.
cute.
I kept laughing. I had to try to laugh out of my microphone.
Also,
Wash is
the
so good.
the best thing
His
to cut
belly
away
laugh
from.
is still like a robot. I was like, that's what I needed. Yes.
As far as pacing and tone, though, that's like you couldn't have written.
That was
it
really
better.
good.
Like that was awesome.
Aw, thanks. Though I was telling Julia earlier today, I was like, literally, my only job tonight is to pace this session. Like, it's all player.
I was
driven.
like, have you done your D&D prep? Because it's usually like a big thing that we do over the
I was
weekend
like,
and everything.
It's a paragraph.
He's like, yep.
It's a paragraph saying, no, what happened to Zoth and the reasons why Kay doesn't want to do it.
And 5
I
Speaking of when-
I did not think of Kay as resisting. That was a big surprise for me. And then as Josh started talking, I was like, oh yeah, and that tracks. And then as he kept talking, I was like, oh, I hate him. Good. Love being angry at the DM I married.
Chat says hi to Lupin. Lupin would say hi back if he wasn't so unloved. You can see how sad his life is there on the couch. Look at him.
Yeah. It's a rough life.
Yeah.
It's a rough life.
Oh, nice.
Trevor, how did it feel to have a session where you were playing Zoth?
No, it felt good.
Zoth didn't even say very much.
I would say
Like,
he did.
Zoth was sitting
He
back
did.
a little bit.
Yeah,
This seems like a party and K moments. Zoth had his K moments.
that's true.
We'll have to
Zoth had-
flash
That
back
was
to some
really
of them.
that was very wise.
Leo, how did I do representing K from what you remember of how you did it in the world building?
I think that's a great way of representing. Also, his motivation, I didn't really think about it, but like makes 100% sense. Like you said, he's the youngest avatar, right? His god joined the world late. And so, like,
As
of
you do.
course he's going to feel like, almost like a teenager, like he's got something to prove. He's got to, like, measure up. And so not being able to and being like, hey, can you go, like, for the greater good?
It was really interesting for me playing him in conflict with Fox because I was like, but Cleo would used to play this deity in the world.
I didn't think of that. That's so
Well,
cute.
I think
Like,
it
oh,
worked
I
really
hope
well
this
because Fox is rightfully very mad about like the situation that Fox feels like that Kay is like literally created. And then for me playing Alan, that first like couple sentences, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm debating my opposite, and nothing I say is gonna get through to him. But Alan doesn't really have the like emotional intelligence to change tack that much. So it's like, well,
I thought his logic was great though.
That's all Alan does is like Alan's like, well, I'm gonna try to keep poking holes in your logic, but then eventually it's just like, well, the thing is, Kay doesn't care about logic, so
Alan was like, I was number one in my debate team.
exactly.
Alan and Makar probably on that debate team.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Makar.
I gotta
if Zoff
say,
can come back. Does that mean that Makar can come back?
The real Makar.
Only if you have a demonic body, which I'm really, really concerned about.
Yeah,
He
Demogorgon.
was trapped inside the
stuff.
rod too. Makar ended up trapped in the rod, according to the rod. Like I don't know if that's a lie.
It's hard when you know what a Demogorgon is, but Alan rolled a 9 and a 10.
I was looking for reactions on faces and I didn't see any. That was good role playing because I was sure at least Wash and Jake would know what we were talking about.
I know the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
And Matt, so by comparison, the one in Stranger Things is kind of like a Chihuahua compared to like a husky or a wolf, you know?
Like
I figured it was important.
The most infamous demon lord in D&D. Like it's
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know anything about a Demogorgon.
And he's practically Thanos. Like his whole motivation is he just wants everyone to stop. Like he wants a quiet universe, so he's like, I guess I have to kill them all to get like
Get
a peaceful,
off my
quiet
lawn.
universe.
So the idea of resurrecting Zoff specifically and his motivation for that.
Josh, you're setting up the villain for the next campaign, you bastard. Holy shit. That's crazy. Anyways, good job.
I need that sound clip.
You bastard. Anyway, good job. That is it.
Full range of emotions.
The realization,
Yeah.
the craziness, the exasperation, and then the respect.
Yeah.
Game
I'm here for the
recognizes
tonal
game.
whiplash.
Oh man.
Wow.
How are we feeling about Kay saying that in order to move forward, the next step is to go see a dragon?
I was about to ask about it and then the session ended. So we'll see.
Oh, I think I missed that.
That was his last line. He was like, "Okay,
Did
we're
he
ready to go. Let's go see a dragon."
At first
What
I
dragon?
assumed he meant
Did he
Garwell,
say
but then
which
I was
one?
like, ooh, maybe not.
No.
I think it's going
Braxton
to be the one who stole Zothkug's name.
Oh.
Andromeda.
Andromeda, the Silver Star. She was also unhelpful. Kay gave me Andromeda vibes for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was also
Yeah.
like, oh,
I was gonna
Alan
say,
doesn't
those
like
two-
what's going on. Yeah.
It was
Those
not
two
in,
probably get along well.
It was not in my notes or my prep, but I almost made a joke about how they were friends. I almost had Kay.
Yeah.
Now, what you need to do, there's this lady I know who lives like near the Umbral Sea. I'm like talking about it that way.
Alan
She's
dislikes
got
Andromeda
vibes.
more because Andromeda is like intentionally obtuse and Alan hates that versus like Kay can't help it.
He's intentionally unhelpful. Like, he's intentionally sitting back and letting the world burn.
I know, but like Alan understands that that's Kay's vibe versus like when Alan's talking to Andromeda, it's like you're being intentionally difficult and I know
You're
it.
just trying to irk me. I got
Yeah.
you. Okay, that makes sense.
It's that
Kay
fey
reminded
nature.
me of like
Yep.
the days where I'll look around at my plants and be like, my plants are dying. And I'm like, but it's going to be really sad for me to go and water them and see how upset they are. So I guess I'll just not. And then they stay sick. I was like, oh no, I relate to Kay.
Oh no, a relatable character.
I say that's
Oh,
Kay
no,
and the
good
changelings.
writing.
Oh no, my plants are dying, but if I helped it would make me sad.
I will say Fox was pissed at Kay and has 100% not forgiven him.
Which just makes it kind of an even bigger sign of growth that he's like, I'll take on this thing for you. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, to Fox at this point, Fox has been taking steps forward only because he sees steps and feels like he must, like, it's one of those things, like, I'm on a staircase, I have to take the next step. And so he sees the step forward and he hates it, but he's like, it's the next step. I gotta take this charge from this avatar if it's gonna move us forward. and he means it. You know, he's not like he's lying, but at the same time, he is. Part of him's just like, I
Fox
hate
is like
this mother.
angrily trying to save the world. He's like Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
You should name him Raccoon.
Oh god. Yeah.
That's
Instead of
another
Fox.
Marvel reference. What is with me tonight?
Growth arc.
I don't even
Josh,
watch
it's
Marvel,
okay.
Marvel movies in a long time.
It's okay. The
Gamer
MCU,
It's
on your
or at
mind.
least the first like 4 phases of it, are a great hallmark for like good long-term storytelling.
Are you like vibing with my mind right now, Josh? Because I just watched Avengers Endgame.
Oh, maybe I
with
picked
my
it
little
up by
bro.
osmosis from you. That's it. It's like sinking through
I
the
haven't.
airwaves.
I just want to say I haven't brought it up.
Will go into a clothing store and consistently both walk out wearing the same shirt.
That's true.
You have
That's true.
We've done
you
that
have
3 or 4
vibes
times, I think.
with each other.
Yeah.
I love
we do
it.
have the vibes.
Very clear.
Man, I am. So who's prepared to fight Thrax and How?
Not me.
It's gonna go great.
Thrax and
Josh.
how the heck are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
I was trying to look up. I was trying to look up that prophecy to see if I could figure out what was connecting at this point. I can't seem to locate it anywhere.
Oh, that's tough.
The one
for you.
with-
No, I'm just kidding. I'll go find
Yeah.
it for you.
I know it's
Yeah,
in
Josh
general,
just secretly deletes it
yeah,
everywhere.
it's gone.
it's in general in the Discord, but I was searching it for you and I'm not hitting on any of the keywords.
Oh, sorry. Are we talking about the Rod of 7 Parts sermon, or are we talking about the prophecy?
Is
that-
Mr.
from
Prophecy's
Curiosity?
prophecy?
Oh, Mr. Prophecy's prophecy.
I think Mr. Prophecy's
No.
prophecy talks about the chosen, the anointed.
Yes,
Right?
the anointed one.
Got
I
it.
believe that is his, but I could be wrong. Let me try anointed as a keyword. Let me spell anointed.
Well, I love
Spelling
you
is
all,
hard.
but I'm probably gonna have to go here soon.
Yeah, let's
Much
actually-
like Jake, I have
Apparently
somewhere to
Josh
be in the
has
morning.
used the word anointed
I mean,
non-ironically twice.
I woke up 15 seconds before stream. I'm good to go. I mean, let's just like do the next section. I mean, I'm
What
ready.
I'll do
That's
here
fine.
is we'll end the stream real quick, and then chat. If you want to keep hanging out with us, you can get into our Discord for free. Like the link is in the about section of
Free
our
of
Twitch.
charge.
We'll jump into just chilling in Discord, and you can hang out with us there if you want to.
Yeah.
Until the next Monday, which is the next time we'll be live. Until then, from all of us here at the Winged Badger Tavern, Cleo, what do we tell the people?
We hope for jury nullification tomorrow because I'm in court and I don't want a ticket and I hope they get rid of it.
Someone's
I'm
gonna
just
show
saying
that clip
it's
as evidence. You're gonna get out of it. You're gonna be like, oh, not a reasonable juror.
but yes, GG's and GN.
Bye, everybody.
Well, you and me, at the end of the video, kind of awkward, kind of waiting for you to subscribe and all that. I'm just gonna head out.